Back in the 1980s, if you had something strange going on in your neighborhood, there was really only one number you were going to call: Ghostbusters. It wasn't just a movie, it was this huge global thing. But what if that call for help was coming from inside the House of Mouse? Today, we are digging into one of the greatest what ifs in all of theme park history: the super ambitious, kind of spooky, and ultimately doomed Ghostbusters ride that was designed for Disney. And it all starts right here with this pretty unassuming magenta binder. Look at it. It's dated February 16th, 1987, and this document from the special effects studio is basically our key to a ghost story that's been locked away in the Disney archives for decades. And inside, oh, just the complete plans for an attraction that could have changed absolutely everything.
So this is the big question, right? What if, instead of just watching Peter Venkman and Ray Stantz on a screen, you could have actually joined their team? Like, strapped into a ride vehicle at a Disney park and busted some ghosts yourself? Well, thanks to these documents, we can finally figure out what that would have been like.
Okay, so you might be thinking, hold on, wasn't Ghostbusters a Columbia Pictures movie? And yeah, you're totally right. But Disney found this really clever way in. See, they had a partnership for the smash hit animated series The Real Ghostbusters. That gave them a crucial foothold in the franchise. And you better believe Disney's Imagineers started dreaming big for their new Disney MGM Studios park. The plan was to build a massive dark ride. And if you're not a huge theme park fan, a dark ride is basically an indoor attraction that takes you through these super detailed themed scenes. Think Pirates of the Caribbean or the Haunted Mansion. But this ride, oh, this was going to be very, very different. And here, wow, here you can see the true scale of what they were planning. This is the master scenic plan for the entire ride. Just look at the complexity, that twisting track, the sheer number of scenes they packed in there. This was not some small side attraction. Nope. This was designed to be a massive e-ticket experience to pull huge crowds into the new park. So now that we've got the blueprints, let's do something nobody's been able to do for over 30 years. Let's take a virtual ride-through of Disney's lost Ghostbusters attraction. So strap in and whatever you do, don't cross the streams. Okay, so the most important thing to get about this ride is that you weren't just a passenger. No way. You'd get into these advanced Omni-Mover-style vehicles, grab your own mounted proton gun, and you'd actually become part of the action. The whole point was to blast as many ghosts as you could, and we're talking a mix of huge animatronics and these really clever blacklight illusions. It was interactive storytelling, and it was years ahead of its time. All right, so the ride kicks off on the chaotic streets of New York City. And as you can tell from the concept art, the mayhem starts immediately. You've got ghosts literally bursting out of a hot dog stand and flying out of trash cans. Your job as a new recruit is to just start blasting away and clear a path through the city. The whole city street section was designed to be this massive, three-dimensional shooting gallery. You'd have ghosts popping out of manholes, leaning out of apartment windows, and haunting all the local businesses, like this tobacco shop and florist. Everywhere you looked, there was another target to bust. Now this is where the scale of the set pieces just gets wild. You'd move from the streets into this gigantic terminal warehouse. The plans describe a skeleton crew of ghosts literally driving forklifts around and dropping crates, creating total pandemonium right over your head. And to add some variety, the ride would then take you through this chills and thrills scene inside a giant cold storage locker. The plans even called for fans to blow chilly air on you as you entered, making the whole thing feel truly immersive, as you blasted ghosts that were hiding among slabs of hanging meat and giant blocks of ice. From there, though, the ride took a noticeably darker, spookier turn. You'd enter Danger Park After Dark, which was basically a haunted version of Central Park filled with skeletal figures, gnarled trees, and crumbling crypts. This was definitely pushing the boundaries of the typical happy, family-friendly Disney experience. And the designers were not subtle about what they were going for. There's a direct quote from the set analysis for the ride's finale, The Cryptic Headquarters of Evil, and it promises that a tremendous amount of visual activity takes place here, which will amaze and frighten the Ghostbuster. Amaze and frighten. Those were their actual words. So Disney had this incredible, boundary-pushing ride, completely designed, basically ready to go. So why can't we ride it today? Well, just as this ambitious plan was coming together, a major rival stepped into the picture, and a theme park turf war was about to kick off.
It all came down to a really messy legal fight over the rights. So Disney argued that their rights to the cartoon show allowed them to build a ride. But Universal Studios, which was planning its own park down in Florida, basically said, no way. They countered that they held the exclusive theme park rights based on the original movie. And that set the stage for a classic Hollywood showdown. In the end, Disney blinked. They were facing the threat of a really costly, really public legal battle, and they didn't want to create all this brand confusion with a competing attraction just down the road. So they made the tough call to just shelve the project entirely. The ghost was busted before it ever even materialized. But here's the fascinating part of the story. While the Ghostbusters ride itself died, its spirit, well, it lived on. The ideas that were cooked up in that 1987 binder were just too good to keep buried forever. They became a ghost in Disney's own machine.
You can see the influence so clearly. That core concept, an interactive, shooting dark ride, it became the blueprint for some of Disney's most beloved modern attractions. I mean, think about it. You board a vehicle, you wield a blaster, you shoot at targets. Sound familiar? That is the DNA of the Lost Ghostbusters ride, living on in Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin and Toy Story Midway Mania.
So this unbuilt ride is so much more than just a missed opportunity. It was a potential turning point. This was a moment when Disney seriously considered embracing an outside property that was edgier, a little bit scarier, and way more tied to modern pop culture than pretty much anything they'd done before. It was a glimpse of a totally different kind of Disney park. And all of this leaves us with one final, kind of haunting question. If this ride had actually been built back in the late 80s, proving that an edgier, interactive, pop culture-heavy ride could be a massive success, how different would the Disney parks that we know and love today really be? It's something we can only imagine.